Get ready with me while I tell you about that one time that I laid eggs and gave birth to 2 sets of twins. So I know there's this stigma around that platform, but it's totally a misconception. It's not all spicy stuff. We're content creators. Like, I wanted to be a chef, and it took me years of beating myself raw in dead-end hospitality before I could even afford the first year. And then when I applied, I didn't even get an interview. So at first, I was really just dabbling, doing streams, mainly lifestyle stuff, some food, some fashion, a little bit of makeup. Tindarius always called it my branding. But it wasn't that corporate. Like, I wasn't trying to find my branding, I was trying to find my voice. So around that time, we started our own pop-up kitchen. And a friend of Tin's owned a pub, so we literally did it out of a car park. And I had 9 ways of doing my eggs, and that was the core of the menu. The beating heart and hot breath of our dream, as Tin called it. He's like that. He wears his old creative writing degree around his neck like an iambic albatross. Then we started doing the Sparta circuit, and the festivals do so well because everyone there is just constantly hungry, which makes sense, you know, if you're pounding ket for 4 days in a tent. And our calendar got pretty full, but only for like 5 months of the year. So it was still really feast or famine. I loved it though, just standing at the hot plate, heart in your mouth, and watching the eggs tear and break. I would hear the bills flutter by the corner fan, and I would smell the bacon crisp, the slow burning of the leaves in the trees, green to red, like the balance of our trading account swerving and careening, green to red. And at some point, I turned on the camera while I was serving, and it was like a full community. Like, honestly, I guess it was just nice to know someone was there, and the comments are almost always nice. So I didn't wear 4 layers while I was working in terms of, you know, strengthening my brand. And this way, it was really just like in my hands. It didn't feel like there was an audience. Oh my God, thanks, Samlin. 2-8 for the stars. And of course, I still cooked on cam, but that's not what they wanted. And Tindarius was like so good about it. Like, he really did come around because, I mean, we were doing all those things anyway, so why not click the little red light? So the swan costume was about 6 months in, and that was to celebrate the coronation because they were, you know, swans and such. Like, they're hers, right? His. Sorry, I keep doing that. I always forget we have a king. And let me tell you, your husband, when he's in a swan costume, takes practice. Thanks, Katie982 for the stars. A lot of people have been really lonely since 2020, and we're creators, creating something. I mean, the gods did it, so why can't we? Anyway, when he came back into the room after, it was surprising. Like, Tin's more of a one-and-done type of guy, so I thought he'd gone to the kitchen for water. But suddenly the swan guy's there, and it's round 2, and I'm like, okay, sure, I was gonna keep streaming anyway. But when we were about halfway through, I noticed something different. Like, the costume was a lot better. And we'd done poly streams before, but not with the Stormfather. So I was going to stop, but then I saw the viewer count. And I'm like, you know, we pray to the gods a lot when we need them, and we beg them to come to us. And I guess one of the gods, the greatest of them, was listening, and he came in my hour of need. Praise be. Oh no, you can give birth to twins with 2 fathers. It happens to animals all the time, but they, you know, have group parties more than we do, despite what you might hear from other people. So yeah, it can happen. But I mean, honestly, it doesn't even matter much when you're the one in the stirrups and the midwife is pulling 2 eggs out of your lady garden. No, yeah, eggs. I should have known, really. Like, it is my branding after all. They were so sweet, though. They put them all gently into an incubator, and pretty soon after that, I could hear some crackling. And very delicately, like that scene with the baby raptor in Jurassic Park, out crawls 2 sets of twins. 2 from Tindarius and 2 from Zeus. The first girl that was hatched, we named Clytemnestra. Oh, thank you for the stars, user 831. And the second girl, we named her after the midwife. Honestly, because by the time you've had a 14-hour labor and given birth to 4 children that had to climb out of their own eggs like fucking pigeons, and you've been jabbed with so many different types of drugs, you feel all kinds of stupid. And all kinds of grateful. And that's the story of how Helen came into this world. Which baby is whose? Tind is actually starting a poll on the stream so you can decide. Oh, and last thing, Helen came out of that egg screaming. Not in pain or fear, but in joy, I think. And then I cried until I drifted off into the dark velvet of nemesis and night, to the sound of my beautiful daughter discovering her branding and her voice.